So here is my next car. It's from a car dealer, and I'm noticing a pipe off already, so there's a pipe missing here. Two pipes missing there. That's the coolant circuit off of the throttle body. I wonder if that's going to have any problems with this one. Who knows. Anyway, we've got an automatic transmission fault. It is coming up with codes, so I'll take you inside and show you the codes. 111148. Yeah. Okay, 111,148. So that's the mileage. And we are finally scanning. I don't know how long that took, but it took a long time to do Mercedes. PC Solenoid A. PC Solenoid A. So we know it's the PC Solenoid A. Second. So nothing at all changes. And that was on, I can't remember now, main was it? Hope it's going to go back to that same menu at some point. We're waiting. Still waiting. Alright, I'll bring you back when it's done it, because this is just frustrating. I'm not sure if anything's working though. I'm thinking this transmission computer isn't doing a lot, is it? I wonder if it's just working manually. How would it work fault code it though? Yeah. Don't get ahead of yourself, eh? So, we're here. Now we're graphing. I've read the engine. Yeah, we're getting some response. I'm not sure exactly what you're seeing. Right, foot is on brake. We're now into reverse. Overrun's gone on. Into neutral. Hasn't recognised neutral. Back into park again. I think the computer's frozen. I think the actual car computer is frozen. Well, I was just going to check all the fuses and have a quick rummage around, and I'm having to rummage around, and look at this. Look at this monstrosity. What have they done? Looks like they've put in a battery pack. They've put a battery pack in there. Who knows what it is, what I'm going to find inside there. So I think the next port of call, like I've said, I'm going to whip all the air tubes off and everything and get down straight to where the fault code is, which is the transmission. Forget that and forget the communication problems and just focus on the problem we've got. I've seen a couple of problems now, and I think the best thing I can do now is spend half hour, 40 minutes researching whether the engine control unit is the transmission control unit as well, which I don't think it will be. I think there'll be a separate control unit for the transmission somewhere, so I think I'm going to do some research on that and see which way that's going to lead me. So like I said, I was going to take all this out. Unfortunately, they've made this whole engine mount the battery tray as well, so getting down here was quite difficult. I don't know if you can see down there, the gear cable comes down here, goes into a bracket, and the bracket covers all the wiring. So then I had the bright idea. I thought I was going to take off all of this here and then flip the radiator back a little bit, and we'll work with the top hose off. But what I found was when I got the inner wheel arch cover off here, I can just get it, I don't know if you can see it, yeah, I think you can see it. I can just get into that wiring terminal there, and I've got the wire unplugged. It's an 8-pin connector, and hopefully it's the right, I think it should be, I hope it's the right thing. So that should be 4 solenoids attached to that, hopefully, fingers crossed. So this is the wiring diagram I've got. This is off AllData, and I'm trialling AllData at the moment. It's pretty good information, to be fair, but having said that, in this particular diagram, which is the transmission control module, unified meter control unit, whatever that is, gear stick selector switch, gear transmission range switch, it says. Ignition start CPU, it's got a CPU, IPDM, battery, data link connector, output speed sensor, input speed sensor, and the engine control module. So inside the gearbox we've got shift solenoid B, shift solenoid A, overrun clutch solenoid valve, torque converter clutch solenoid valve, and line pressure solenoid valve. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me, and there's 8 wires on that. I'm guessing they earth it through the bodies of the solenoids inside the gearbox. That's what I'm guessing. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a bad case of the flu, maybe COVID. Who cares? It's man-COVID. And talking out here, and the whirring noise is the heater to keep me warm while I'm doing this inside the garage. Anyway, that's by the by. So that connector's got 8 wires in it for as far as I can see. I haven't really given it a good look because it's in such a difficult position. And I've got no wire colours here on this wiring diagram, which is really helpful. I take it these are transmission control unit switched, because there's an earth inside, so these should have 12 volts coming down to it, maybe, or maybe 5 volts. I will switch it all on and find out front probing it. Might put some dummy loads on it as well. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to make a decision. When I make the decision, I will show you what I'm doing. The transmission control module is underneath the steering wheel next to the brake pedals, somewhere down there, so I will have to open circuit this to test this. So I'll wham the battery back in again, and then I've got front probes in here. Can you see that? Yeah, I've got front probes in there. So we'll start from the start. I'm not sure what you're seeing there. So we'll call that pin 1. I don't know what pin it is, but we'll call that pin 1. And we've got battery voltage. And then we'll call this pin 2. So we'll call that pin 2. And we've got battery voltage. And then we'll call this pin 3. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Not battery voltage, not anything. I think the TCM's got on this one. That one, 8.96. Good grief, 95. And then we'll drop down to this one. Nothing in that wire. That's probably earth. And we've got this 2.51. Could be CAN bus, maybe. Who knows what that is. And then that 11.78. So theoretically, there's me. What we just measured was this lot here. So there was 7 wires there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those have got to be those 5. and then one was an earth or 0 volts, and one was 2.51 volts, which could be CAN bus. Who knows what they've done? I don't know. When we're back, so I've got a torch. I've got the dashboard out a little bit, just as much as I can without dismantling too much, to try and find the transmission control unit. It says it's up near the brake light switch on all data. Now my all data free trial is running out either today or tomorrow, so I've got to make a decision on whether I'm going to purchase it or not, but we've got wrong information on this one. And no, I'm not criticising all data for that. Apparently in the UK we have data protection for the manufacturers, so they don't have to give out data, unfortunately. Whereas in America they have something called right to repair, and they can get data for anything, anytime they want, as long as you pay for it. And all data in America obviously get better access to American vehicles. Anyway, that's the information we're going with. So we've got 7 wires. I can account for 5 of them. Maybe one of them's got a drop-in resistor on it, that's why it's got a lower voltage. Okay, so we can understand one with a lower voltage. It just shows you like this. This is usually what Japanese wiring diagrams are like, but you usually get some kind of indication of terminals and wire colours and what have you. So it's a very basic overview wiring diagram in the front of the manual kind of thing, this one is. See what kind of, see what's happening on that basically. There's some kind of diodes in the combination meter here. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know why it's got diodes in it, but I've got to work this out. I've got to backwards engineer it, because you only get a certain amount of information. So yeah, another bit of a sit down and a think about it, scratch my head a little bit, and then onwards and upwards. We have the, let's put a better light on that. We have the driver's side underneath out, and there's nothing down there. So I took out, that's the base of the seat going down, by the way. So I took the passenger side out, and this is the glove box, just 4 screws hold it. One here, they're inside the lid, and then one here, you see that, yeah, and then one here underneath. You get everything underneath with the lid closed, so 2 with the lid closed and 2 with the lid open. Then the whole thing just comes out really, just basically almost drops out. It's got an air conditioning refrigerated glove box, so you need to get that wind up when you put it back in again. Just a thing from the, so it could be heated or refrigerated. You could have it heated, I suppose, as well. And then there's a control unit there, and I'm going to say that's the transmission control unit. So that is the transmission control unit. So when you're backward engineering something because you haven't got wiring diagrams, or proper wiring diagrams, then when you're using diode test or resistance to check wires for open circuit and proper circuit, circuit and open circuit, you know, to make sure the wires are connected at each end, then it's best to have a beep. This little UT30B, although they're really inexpensive and really useful, they do a lot of stuff, and some more stuff than this one here. This UT105 is a good tester, and it has a beep as well. It's not a latching beep, but it gives you a diode test beep. So this is the UT105. I've got some extremely long leads made up. I'm just going to test continuity. So we know full well that the leads I've got, which are homemade leads, extremely long, are working. Now I'm going to get set up inside the car and we'll go from one to the next. So I'm just going to plug in down here on one lead and start making notes of where we are and what we're doing and whether this is going to be the control unit inside the car or not. Okay, this might all go to pot, but I'm going to try and keep you in frame. I don't know if you're in frame or not. ain't got a clue. I mean, I've got the foggiest. I think the meter's on. Let me just check the meter's on. Yeah, the meter's on. I can see the meter from here. Okay. I'd say this white. I was going to say. That doesn't sound too clever. As front probes go, that doesn't sound too clever. Oh, my good night. Sorry about moving you there. I think it's just my connection in the front there. So that's the third one across there. We can back probe it better. Right, so what I might do is I might pick them out one by one and leave the back probes in here. As you can see that out there now, so I've just took them out. I've got the annoying beep going on up here with the multimeter, and the resistance on that is good. 0.01, 0.02, that's good resistance, clearly. And because I've got open ends up here, pull that back out again. That's second row, third one in. Because I've got that down here, I can obviously come up here and just do a continuity test up here if I want to. I'm using the wrong lead though. Oh, you don't see it now. I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing. So that's the benefit of the homemade leads with the male and female combination banana plugs for testing. So let's see if I can go straight back into the right wire. I think it's this grey one here. Yep, okay. So let's go out to the front of the vehicle and confirm that that's a grey wire and it hasn't changed colours all the way around. I might want to take my light with me, otherwise I won't be able to see anything. We'll leave that beeping. Get down to the front here, lay down, get in there. Get some light on the subject. Hopefully I've had to confirm that's grey. There. So it's the top right hand one there. But I can't see anything there because the light ain't in the right position. And yeah, me being colourblind, that's either grey or light blue. It looks light blue to me here, so it might well be light blue now. Great in the with the light all shining on it. Yeah, light blue. So I'm going to go through them one by one, confirm wire colour and confirm connection down here, and write them all down. We'll start a new wiring diagram. And that's the latch connector, and this is the terminal facing towards you. And I've labelled them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 because I cannot see a determining mark on it. Although I took a picture here, I might take a picture and change the numbers in a second. So from eyesight I went white, white, red, light blue, yellow, didn't know, black, vacant. Took a picture and I'm thinking that's light green, it's definitely yellow, that's definitely black, I say that's light green, and that first one is definitely white and I'm thinking this is pink, light blue, and then the one behind the thing is red. So the one behind the light green one here, there's a one behind that is red. So I've got the gearbox side terminal pinned out now with colours. So from the, oh man, I don't know what to leave you. From what I'm getting in here, I can't really see anything colour wise with the lighting I've got. So So I'm just going to front probe all these. There we go, we've got one there. Okay, so that's number 2. There's a white one, or is it a light grey one, or is it a pink one? I don't know. I think this should be pink or light grey. Definitely a... The handbrake is digging into me, big style. And I don't know what colour that is. I can't tell what colour that is. Is that pink or is that light grey? Probably grey. Could be pink. But it seems to be a similar colour to what I'm seeing outside. So I'll go and change to the next one. So we've got this one here, line 2. I'll see if I can get any numbers off of this one. I'll take a picture of this one and see if I can get any numbers off this one and see if we can actually get a proper wiring numbering system going on this one. Now, working this stuff out back to front and upside down and with hardly any information whatsoever, in fact that being the best wiring diagram you've got, I can correlate some of the information. Now, we have a few wiring terminal numbers on this, yeah? And if we assume that this has got the transmission control unit on this vehicle has got 2 connectors which are identical, but one is white, this is the white one that we're dealing with, and the other one is grey, then we can tally some of these numbers up, maybe. Now I've numbered mine starting here 1 to 9, 10 to 18, 19, 20, 21, blah blah blah. But if we flip those numbers around and start here and go 1 to 9 the opposite way, opposite to what I've done, then obviously it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, blah, 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 18, 19, blah, 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 24, yeah? Just pretend that I've numbered them the right way, because this is what I think. So, on this one here, we've got pin number 1 goes to the line solenoid, okay? And we've got a connection from this connector here down to what I thought was 9. And it goes to pin 1 over here, which is a white wire. I haven't figured out the colours on this yet. I'll put the lines in here to put the colours on, but forget that. Pretend that's number 1, and we'll say that is terminal 1 on this one, and it goes to terminal 1 on that one, and we'll assume that that's the line pressure solenoid. Okay? Is this going to fall off? This feels like it's going to fall off. It feels like it's sliding. We're assuming that. Then if we can assume that, then we'll count across. And we have a line 3 on here, so we have something here, number 3. So we count across from 1, which is I've put 9. We go to 7, which will be 3, and it goes across to 8 on this one here. And number 3 on this would be the torque converter solenoid lockup clutch, torque converter clutch solenoid valve. And then 20. So we'll go through to 20. That'd be 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20, which would be my 23. It goes to number 2 up here on this one here. So 20 on that one would have been overrun clutch solenoid valve. And then terminal 11 up here. So we'll go to mine, so 9, 10, 11. So 11, I marked one off here, which is 17 on mine. We went to number 3 up here, so that all tallies up, and that would have been shift solenoid A, which I think is the problem we've got here on this particular vehicle. And then 12, which would have been another one across here. It goes to number 4 up here. So we're sort of tallying up. So what I'm saying is, if I just swap my numbers on this terminal block, vice versa, this all tallies up to what this is saying here, coming out transmission control module. Now, on this one here we had a black wire, number 6, and 6 produces 199 ohms when connected to number 18 down here on my numbers, not their numbers, and 18 on my numbers doesn't connect to any solenoids down here. It also connects to 24 on my numbers, and 24 was connected to none of these clutch solenoids. It also connects to 5 with 600 ohms, and 5 down here goes to number nothing on that one there, so that's alright. And it also connects to number 4, 690, 669 ohms, I swear this connected to 1. No, it didn't. Okay. And number 4 on mine goes around and it's nothing. So I'm not concerned about the earth. What I'm guessing is I'm picking up sensors. So there's sensors down there, or there's something connected, like it could be the transmission position switch, and different resistances inside it, and I'm just picking up those on the earth. I don't know. But there's an earth going to the gearbox. It's a good earth, you put it to the earth, but it also, when I'm connected to that earth on the gearbox, I'm getting resistance through other wires, if you see what I'm saying, which is possibly feasible that those other wires have got a connection to earth through an internal resistance in a sensor, if you see what I'm saying. I don't know what the other wires are for. Wire 5, wire 4, wire 24 and wire 18 on my wiring numbers here. I don't know what they go to. I'm not particularly concerned with those because there is no faults for those. It's either shift solenoid A or shift solenoid D, so it's number 11 or number 12. So it's my number 17 or my number 16, which are these two terminals here. So I'm going to stick, for a start, I'm going to do it, I'm going to plug the plug back in to the gearbox now. I'm going to measure the resistance on all of these to earth. These should all be connected to earth, because it says they're connected to earth. So I'm guessing all these solenoids should be identical. So I've now got the wiring plugged back into the gearbox, and I'm back probed there into what is my number 17. So my number 17 is here, 18, 17, and come across, and that would be the number 11. And the number 11 on this would be shift solenoid A. That's what I think it is. Now 22 ohms, 23 ohms, which is what I'm getting there, is approximately what I think it should be. It sounds feasible. So when you're doing this stuff, you're always looking for the odd one out, and obviously this one here, which is number 1, is the odd one out, 3.7. So let's go up to the sheet that we've got for the information, and obviously pin 1 is here, but it does say it has a drop-in resistor in it, so it's feasible that that could be miles out because it's got a drop-in resistor in it. So we'll discount that one, and then we'll look at the other ones. So we've got top one here, 12.6, then we've got 12.5, then we've got 23, and we've got 23. Now that's feasible as well. We've only got one fault on this vehicle, and that's shift solenoid A or shift solenoid B. In a perfect world, you'd think the two shift solenoids would be the same and the two clutch solenoids would be the same, but you can almost guarantee that they've got one solenoid of a type on shift solenoid valve B and another one of another type on shift solenoid A. It's not the wiring, that is for sure. I am not 100% positive, although I'm pretty sure all those solenoids are alright. They all look feasible resistances apart from 3.7, but if you take into account the drop-in resistor, then yes. I mean, I could literally pin out number 2. It's not going to do anything. There's a splice in the loom here somewhere, and I don't know. I'm not certain. Couldn't tell you. I'm not sure exactly what's happening with that. I just know that one's got a drop-in resistor showing you there, and it's a weird ohmage. But the line pressure solenoid is not the fault that we're getting. I could pin that out. I could take that out of the terminal block in the control unit, put it all back together, and just see if it comes up with a line pressure solenoid valve fault. I'll clear all the rest of the faults out, yeah. See if solenoid A, I think it's solenoid A, stays out of the fault memories, and this comes into the fault memories. But to be fair, looking at the fault memories that came back in again, I should have at least 5 open circuits now, and I've got 3. So I think it was shift solenoid A or B, one of those two, and then these two here are showing up. We didn't say anything about this line pressure solenoid. I'm definitely measuring it. So I've got some more thinking to do, but to aid the thought process, I do believe I'm just going to get a load more of these back probe wires out and get the Handtech set up and started up and see what's happening. And by the way, the earth I was using was this earth here, and yes, it's a red wire on the earth, so the Germans will be getting excited. Oh, he's used a red wire for the earth, awesome. And I was using the black wire for testing with, but excuse me. Yeah, that's where we're going next for this backward engineering diagnosis process without taking the gearbox to pieces, without doing too much. And at present, like I say, it's looking like transmission control unit has failed. So I've got the 8-channel oscilloscope out. I've got 5 channels populated, and this is open circuit at the moment. So I'll get some weird signal on channel 5 and then it collapses. Do that again. So channel 5 tries to do something, then it collapses. I'm just going to get the screen go down. Then it collapses. And it does all that. And then channel 4 sits there pulsing. Channel 4. Yeah. Does a duty cycle. Okay, so that's what we get. So I'm going to try and do my solenoid activation trick. So this is something that you'd stick into a fuse box. You'd remove a fuse, you'd put that into a fuse holder, and then put the fuse that you just took out into this device, and then you can put your meter in it for amp draw, or whatever you want to do it with, you know, whatever you want to do with it, so you can test to make sure you got power on one side and nothing on the other side. When you turn the fuse on, power comes on both sides because of the short circuit. There's many things you can use it for. What I'm using it for is I'm going to put this into, let's say, that wire there, which is connected to the oscilloscope right now. So I'll just literally plug this into the back of one of those wires like that, and then this wire here I will touch to a positive. So what I'll probably end up doing is having that red wire there, so instead of it being connected to the power, I'll bring another wire in which is connected to the positive, and it will be a positive, and I'll click this into that, and then I will short the end of this out with something through the fuse, obviously, and listen for the click. So go click, 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 click on the solenoid. That's what Okay, this is mega dangerous. I've got it plugged in the wrong way, clearly. Anyway, there's power on one of these, and then there's resistance on the other one. And when I do this, so I turn the fan off. As you can hear, it's quiet in here now, because this last one had a weird clicking noise on it. Sure, you can hear the clicking there. It's just a slightly different clicking noise. So I measured the resistance on this one. I'm going to go and check it now, but this is the one with 3 ohms in it, so that's why it's sounding different, I think. A bit more of a powerful relay, maybe. So I'm plugged into the next one now. Doesn't matter which one it is. And you can hear it's more of a tick 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 instead of a tick 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 tick. So that previous one I tested with the green wire in it on the oscilloscope. So you can hear that ticking, sounded just like the green wire. That last one was the white, and this one is the black. Okay, And this one will be the yellow wire. Nothing. Oh, I swear that ticked before. I'm going to check my setup. I'll blame my fuse. Right, so we're going to have to test voltage. So I can't do this one-handed, I don't think. Can try, but it ain't going to work. It might. So yeah, we've still got battery voltage. Still got battery voltage. Into ohmage. Make sure we're connected to a wire. We've got no wires falling out. Ohmage. So yeah, we're connected still. Oh, I swear that was ticking before. Oh, I swear that was ticking before. That's not ticking, is it, eh? So we'll see which one that is. It's not ticking. Oh, it is. We've got a tick then. I swear that was ticking before. Okay, so they're all ticking. Well, before I decided to go ahead and take the gearbox out, I've cut the wire. And yeah, you can just see it there. So you can see the cut. So, and then between that, I've got a variable resistor. It's set to around about 12 ohms, and it's in series, so there'll be about 16 ohms there now. And this is the oscilloscope. So let's turn the ignition on, and we'll get a duty cycle. So we turn the ignition on, we've sent a duty cycle, and we'll come into the TCM. So it's done its initial test. And it's saying read fault codes, no fault codes. Fortunately, the Nissan computer won't stay connected when you start it. So then we'll turn the ignition off, and then we'll turn the ignition back on again, and it does that same beep. So we'll give that a few times, shall we? You never know, it might pick up a fault code, eh? Didn't do anything that time. Give it a second to get out of that phase, and ignition back on again. Now it's doing nothing. So, have we got a fault code now? Going back into the transmission control unit. It's entered the transmission, read fault code, no fault code detected. Come back out of the transmission, turn the ignition off, turn the ignition back on again, nothing. One more time. I saw a bit of a hash come out of the computer then, just a little bit. Okay, read fault code, no fault code. Come back out. So this time I'm going to start the engine. So you see the duty cycle. It obviously go through the gears. Oh, and the oscilloscope's gonna. Oh, it came out reverse this time. Sometimes it doesn't come out reverse. You have to be careful. So that's what we got. Let me get you set back up for the next bit. I could have just kept you going really, to be fair. So back into the transmission control module. and now it's going to register a fault. So now it registers a fault. So I've just clipped the wires back together again, and they're both in the same dog clip now, crocodile clip, alligator clip, whatever you want to call them. And now I'm just going to switch the ignition on. We didn't get any response whatsoever. Let's start the engine up. And we'll get 2 responses from it. Straight into fault, undoubtedly. So TCM, untap. It's an OF fault code that we get. So we've still got the OF fault code. Now I've done a bit of research. This ends up being a P0745. Some people think an oil change will sort this out. Other people think the solenoid will sort it out, and other people think the pump inside the gearbox will sort this out, and then the wiring faults and all manner of stuff. Well, I'm pretty certain we've eliminated wiring faults. So I've gathered all the information I can get off of it. I've repositioned everything, got it jacked up on axle stands, and I'm going to drop the oil out now. So it's fresh oil, apparently it's just been changed. So I've wiped out my container. I should give it one more quick wipe out before I drop it out into this, just to make sure there's nothing left in it at all. Make sure there's no loose particles going in from bits that I scrape off from the sides like that. 100% certain that there's no micro bits of metal in there. So I've got the black lead going into the car connected to the cut wire, and I've got the continuity tester on beep mode. Then we've got the other cable coming down here, and we're underneath the car, and the first thing, let's have a better light than that. First thing you'll see, we've got milky stuff inside the sub pan of the gearbox. It says to me it's water. It's got water in the gearbox. That cannot be good for a start. Secondly, I don't know what you're seeing up here, but we've got the sump off the gearbox, which you guess because it's on the floor. And if I put the light somewhere, maybe we can have some illumination while we're doing this. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So I've got the continuity tester, and hopefully the camera's microphone will pick this up. I can't see, I'm sorry about the shaking. But I have got, yeah, I think you can see it now. I've got the earth wire off the solenoid. I'm trying to pull it out, but I've got a little bit annoyed because it won't come straight out, so I've decided to do this. So yeah, I've definitely got the right solenoid. So I've got power going into the inside of the car. I've got an earth here. Right, it's red, but who cares? Not sure how much light we're getting there and showing you. Is that better? Yeah, we're on this, and I've got the side cover off and the bottom cover off because it's got like a loose wiggly thing down the back here where my finger is. I don't know if you can see where my finger is. I wanted to see what that was, but it's just gears up the side here, so I've got to reseal that. But that is nothing in comparison to this amazingly great idea. This bolt here, it will not go back in again. It's got a nut on top of it, so I've got to try and get a small magnet on the top there, get that nut out, then make a special tool to hold that nut, then fish it back up into position, then put the bolt in. Or, alternatively, you could take the whole valve block out. So this is my special tool. I've been using it, it's just a bit of wire bent. I've been using it in there, and I've got the nut in position, and I'm holding it down, but I just can't hold it straight. So I'm going to use this now. I'm going to wrap some tape around it so I don't leave the magnets up there. And I'm going to use this to fish the nut out. Okay, from that angle, I believe you're going to be able to see me doing this, the light is going to change because I'm going to use the light in my hand so I can see what I'm doing. Maybe not, I don't know. I don't need the light. So, stick it up, spin it round. Fingers crossed we'll pick it up in a second. No, we have not. Maybe it's stainless steel. There's no nut coming out with it. Maybe they got ultra clever and went for a stainless steel arrangement. Sticking to everything else, sticking to all the bolts, but ain't bringing a nut out with it. Try it one more time. Is that it? Yeah, I got it. Got it. Got it. There we go. We've got the nut. Okay, there it is. It holds the nut pretty stiff. It ain't going to fall out very easily. You can take a bit of a tapping on the thing. I mean, obviously it's moved a little bit after that tapping, but I don't think it's going to come out. So I'll give it a blast. We'll see if we can get that in. Alright, it's in. Hands in the way. I don't care. Everything's good. I'm happy. So you can see me metal bit here, and you can see the bolt here. And it's on. Now I've got to get this metal bit off now. Hopefully it'll come off. Yes. And there it is. There is the tool that did it. There we go. That's what it looks like. It only just made it. Literally got to get it really tight around the nut. Man, yes, I've got it. Okay, these are the two special tools. This was the original tool. No, sorry, this was the original tool I made with a magnet on it. And then I modified it to put the nut on after I got the nut out, and it wasn't quite right. And then when I lost the nut inside there, I had to make another magnet one. So that's just two neodymium magnets, insulation taped on with the right angle to get over to where the nut was. And then that is the shape they've got the nut out. So the nut, it's a flange nut, it fits in, the flange is just about as wide as that 1 mil, 1.5 mil wire, whatever it is, and I squeezed it in the vise. I squeezed the nut and the wire in the vise to get it really tight, and then worked it with a screwdriver to make it really tight, then took it out and then squeezed that loop a little bit to make it so the nut was really tight in it, and then used the pliers to put the nut inside the special tool, and it was really in there tight. But there was only just enough room at the top there for that wire, so this wire was the maximum size. I will get the measuring device out and we'll measure it. So is that going to zero out? This is going to be one-handed, who knows. There you go, it's zeroed out, and this wire is, oh, it's 2 mil, 2.15 millimeter wire. Okay, so that is literally at the limits of it. So I've cleaned the pans up as best as they need to be. The outside's obviously not cleaned up as good as the inside, and I am getting ready to install the new gasket and fit them in. And also I even cleaned off the magnets as well, so I don't forget to put the magnets in. The two magnets are all being cleaned off, so you know it's a fresh start for it. All that white gunk that was in there is being cleaned out, and we'll get it back together again. So here we are inside the Nissan, and the control unit is hanging down, and the new old control unit is here, and I've done the wiring repair. where are we? Yeah, there we go. So I've used a heat shrink connector, and I haven't heat shrunk it. I might not. It doesn't really matter. It's good enough as it is, but I might just heat shrink it anyway, just to make it look the business, and then put the protective sheathing back around it with a bit of insulting tape. But for a start, I need to test the old unit and then test the new unit, and blah 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 blah. So this is the old control unit. You can see the new control unit because it's got the breakers yard stuff all over it. I've got a trigger on, and I'm going to start recording. No recording mode, any settings will be unchanged, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. So we're recording, and then we'll start the vehicle. And then it's cut out. Stop. Okay, so you see it was alright for a second there or so, and then it stopped. Okay, the engine's running, new TCM installed, into gear. We'll get duty cycle for a second, into neutral, into reverse, nothing, into park. Might see if there's any codes. So the pattern looks identical. Let's see if there's any codes. Unbelievable. This might be a big waste of time. Doesn't show any codes for a start. Communicating. Fingers crossed. Read fault codes. Oh man. No. Okay. So it's not. Right, the £30 transmission ECU parts cannon didn't work. So I looked further into the drop-in resistor, which is on the wiring diagram, which I've already shown to you. Drop-in resistor here, and I found it. So here it is. And I've ordered one, but it hasn't arrived. So I'm taking it to pieces. As you can see, I'm just checking it. It has got no ohmage. It should be an ohmage, and I'm going to take the insulation off of it now. It's ceramic, and we'll look at the resistor inside. So I'll just break it to pieces. So I've got it to pieces, and you can see the unit here, and here's the resistor from inside it. Okay, I've got clipped onto the wire at the end, and this resistor has got 66,000 or 60,000 ohms. Yeah, it's going down. More fiddle with it, 59,000. I'm sure the wires are just getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. Okay, what I've done is, the end that was corroded really badly, I've made an aluminium end for it and crimped it on. I'm not sure what you're seeing that. The other end I've just sanded back till we've got clean steel. So I'm going to solder a wire onto the steel and solder something onto the aluminium at the end there. A wire, obviously. Something. Let's see what the resistance is through that. Make sure we're getting a good resistance through there. And it's 14 ohms. The whole thing is 14 ohms. Can you see that? No, you cannot see that. There. Can you see it now? Yes, you can. So through the whole of that is 14 ohms. 13.9. And you have to add on about an ohm and a half of these leads, because these leads are not great, to 2 ohms. So yeah, 12 ohms is the resistor. it's repaired. So I am going to solder the wires back on, or solder some wires onto it and then solder it back on, and then do some soldering. I'm going to do some soldering basically. So proof of concept, I think the solder will come off. I think we'll have it plugged in and the battery rested on top of it, and see if the fault code stays away. Right, it's just resting there. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. It's pretty sturdy. And then we're going to get the oscilloscope going now and see what kind of difference it's made being connected, and see if any of the wires pop off of it. Right, here we are. Antec 1008C. Wire in, channel 1 going. Signal, and it's lost it. So I'm going through the different gears here. Back into neutral, into reverse, still working. Back into park, into reverse, into drive, into reverse, still working, into neutral, sorry, park, reverse, into drive. Oh yeah, it's still working, into neutral. Oh yeah, it's still working. Into park. Yeah, that signal is very strange, is it not? I want to try and record that signal, so I'm going to try and record it, and we'll see if the car's got any fault codes in it. So the note is done, or in the road test. The customer wanted the temporary repair, so he gets the temporary repair. And I've been running for a long time now, I've been going through the gears and what have you. I just want to take it out for a road test, make sure it's all okay. It seems to only work, excuse me, it seems to only be working when you're going from neutral to a gear, or from park to a gear, and from a gear to neutral, and from a gear to park. So when you're driving, the resistor isn't even getting any kind of attention at all, and it doesn't jolt into gears anymore. It's really smooth. So take it for a road test and see what it's like.